Well, with the bountiful rains across Karnataka, the water level in the Kabini Dam has risen significantly. With a total storage capacity of 84 feet, the current water level in the Kabini Dam is 75 feet. The total inflow in the Kabini Dam is 16,500 cusecs, while the outflow is 1,000 cusecs. Meanwhile, the farmers' community that is aware of this fact laid siege to the Mysore Water Board and demanded that water be released from the Kabini Dam. Well, in fact, even earlier this month, the farmers had taken to the streets fearing that they will not be provided adequate water supply in the wake of the delayed monsoons. But despite rains striking several parts of the state, there are several other parts like Dharwad and the like where monsoons have still not arrived. And that's the reason why these farmers are demanding that the Kabini Reservoir water be directed to them and their farms.
ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗೆ.
And well, even as the water levels in the Tungabhadra Dam are steadily rising since yesterday, the current water level is 1,595 feet with a total storage capacity of 1,633 feet. The inflow of water as of now in the Tunga Dam is 917 cusecs, while the outflow is at 134 cusecs. Well, thanks to the incessant rainfall in regions like Chikmagaluru, Shimoga, along the Western Ghats and the coast, in fact, has been experiencing pretty heavy showers, and that is what has filled the Tunga Dam as well as the Kabini Reservoir. This has come as a huge relief to farmers in the state, as they fear that it will be drought-affected year and the El Nino year. But at the same time, despite the fact that it is an El Nino year and we might see rains being significantly lesser than what it had been last year or the year preceding that, but since the reservoirs and the dams have been filled, there could be a possibility of sufficient water being supplied to the farmers. And while the situation is no different in the coastal region of Udupi, where it's raining cats and dogs, several small rivers have burst their banks in the district because of the heavy showers. The rivers Sita, Swarna and Soparnika are overflowing. The heavy rain is forcing people to stay indoors. The rains have also affected transport in the region. Some areas have seen 36 hours of rainfall. There have also been heavy rains even in Chikmagaluru. Several small dams in the region have been filled to the limit in the district. Madikeri also witnessed heavy rains and several low-lying areas were inundated in the town. Well, in fact, in Chikmagaluru, Udupi and Madikeri for the last several days, it has been raining continuously, thereby inundating several low-lying areas and several riverbanks bursting as well. While in Madikeri, power shortage has become a major issue due to the rainfall, and power cuts have become the order of the day. In Udupi and in Chikmagaluru, residents are being forced to stay indoors, as it is extremely difficult to step out in the rainfall, where the visibility has come down a great extent as well. Well, Home Minister KJ George today held a top-level meeting with high-ranking police and intelligence officers in Vidhana Saudha. The meeting comes after several complaints from businessmen from the coastal belt regarding extortion from the underworld. Minister UT Khadar was also present at the meeting. Well, just a few days back, let's not forget that KJ George, who had been listening to many grievances coming in from the coastal belt, that businessmen were being affected by the underworld mafia. KJ George had gone on to say that he too has received many threat calls himself, and today he ensured that the state will be providing as much protection as it possibly can.
ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಮತ್ತು ನಗರ ಮತ್ತು ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಈ ಅಂಡರ್ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಬೆದರಿಕೆ ಕರೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ರಮಾನತಾಯಿಯವರು, ಸಚಿವರಾದ ಕಾದ್ರವರು, ಅಭಯ್ ಚಿತ್ರವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ಶಾಸಕರುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳ ಸಭೆ ಕರೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಯಾರು ಬಿಲ್ಡರ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ತಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ವಿಚಾರ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಭೆ ಕರೆಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಅವರ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಆ ವಿಚಾರನ ಸವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿ ಈಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟದವರು, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಾವು ಜೊತೆಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಲವೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಪೋಲ್ ಸಮೇತ ನಮಗೆ ಅವರು ಸಹಾಯ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಸಮೇತ ನಾವು ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಟೀಮನ್ನು ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಮೇತ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಂಥ ಯಾರು ಈ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಡರ್ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸದೆ ಬಡಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರಿಗೆ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Well, in fact, KJ George going on to state that the government, in fact, will come up with solutions to tackle this crisis and will do all it can in its capacity to protect the interests of the businessmen. And well, in a shocking accident that claimed life in Hebbal today, a petrol tanker rammed into a bike. The accident took place on Hebbal flyover. The deceased has been identified as 51-year-old Vishnu Adhikari from Sarjapura. The police have seized the tanker and a case has been registered at the Hebbal police station. Well, it is not clear as to what exactly led to the accident, whether it was a fault on part of the victim, the bike rider, or whether it was a fault on part of the petrol tanker. Police officials will be interrogating eyewitnesses as well as the petrol tanker driver himself to find out the truth. And well, a no-confidence motion was moved against Raichur Nagara Sabha President Mahadevi. 33 people have voted for the no-confidence motion. Pro-Kannada organizations are against this motion and staged a protest outside the Nagara Sabha against its passage of the motion in the council. Police have arrested the people who were waiting outside the building. Well, in fact, these were the scenes witnessed outside the Raichur City Council, where protesters went on to agitate against a motion being passed against the Nagara Sabha chief. And even as the protest turned slightly violent, the police officials came in and bundled them up in the police van, and the situation was diffused. In fact, these were the scenes of absolute chaos witnessed outside the Raichur City Council. There we can see the Kannada Rakshana Vedike activists protesting against the motion passed against the Nagara Sabha chief. And this motion was passed in the Raichur City Council, and hence even as the motion was being passed, the protesters gathered outside to agitate against it. Police officials had to come in and arrest many of the protesters to bring the situation under control.
ಧಿಕ್ಕಾರ